Good morning as we go to the Chitas of today. Today is Thursday. It's the fifth reading of the portion of Vayechi. We're in the middle of the blessings of Yaakov Avinu to his children. In the middle of the blessings. We're holding on chapter 49, verse number 19. God gedud yigdana v'hu yigdud ekev. God, a troop will troop forth from him, and he will troop back on its attacks. Rashi says, God gedud yigdana. You have three expressions. All these words are expression of troops. Gedud, as Menachem classifies it. If you ask why there's no expression of gedud without the daled, we answered indeed the noun gedud requires two daleds. But that's the rule. The root of two letters. In this case, God to double the final letter. Okay, we're going to go further because this is a grammar Rashi. All these troops will return in their tracks to the territory that they took on the other side of the Jordan. No one will be missing of them. They will have a blessing not to lose any men in battle. Akev in their way and the paths upon which they went, they will return. Equivalently to, and your steps, ikvisecha, were not known. And similarly, in the footsteps, of the flocks, from Asher will come forth rich fruit, and he will yield regal delicacies. She says, the food of Asher territory will be rich, for there will be many olive trees in its territory, so that the oil will flow like a fountain. And thus Moshe blessed him also. And he'll dip his foot in oil. And we learn in Menachos that the people of Laodicea once needed oil, so they appointed themselves a Gentile messenger, according to Rashi, or a Gentile officer, according to Rashi and Rabbeinu Gershom. They said to him, go and bring us worth 1,000,000 coins of oil. So they went, the messenger went to Tyre, where they told him, go to Galicia, a town in the territory of Russia. The messenger went to Gisilka, where they told him, go to so-and-so, to that field. He went to that field, and he found a man breaking up the earth around an olive tree. The messenger asked him, do you have 1,000,000 coins worth of oil? The man replied, yes, but wait for me until I finish my work. The messenger waited. The man finished his work. He cast his tools over his shoulders and went with him on the way, removing the stones from the path as he walked. The messenger thought to himself, has this man really 1,000,000 coins of worth of oil? I think the Jews have played the trick on me. As soon as the man arrived at his town, his maidservant and brought him a kettle of hot water. The man washed his hands and face with it. He then brought him to a golden cup full of oil. He dipped his hands in it and his feet in it to fill what it says, and he'll dip his feet in oil. He then they then had him died, and the man measured out the messenger's worth 1,000,000 coins. He asked the messenger, you need any more? Yes, the messenger, but I have no money. The man replied, if you want to buy. I'll come with you and collect the money for it. The man then measured out the additional oil for 180,000 coins. It said that the messenger hired all the horses, mules, and camels and donkeys that he could find in the land of Israel. As soon as the messenger arrived in the homeland town, the townspeople came and praised him. They said to him, don't praise me, praise this man who measured it out for oil for 1,000,000 coins. and still owe him 180,000 coins. This illustrates a verse. There'll be no one who thinking is riches, but has nothing. One who renders poverty, but has great wealth. Naphtali will be swift as a gazelle. He's one who utters beautiful words. Asi says, this is the valley of Ginzer, which is ripened its fruit swiftly, like a gazelle, which runs swiftly. Ayala shlucha means a gazelle that runs swiftly. Anais imri shafer, as a tiger renders. Another explanation, a swiftly gazelle. Even Jacob prophesied concerning the war with Sisera. And take with you 10,000 men for Naphtali, and they went with alacrity, and so is stated with the expression of dispatching into the valley. They rushed with their feet. So Naphtali was swift people. And they said, Imri Shafar, one who utters beautiful words. Through them, Devadah and Barak sang a song later on. Rabbis in the Talmud, however, interpret the entire verse as an allusion to the day of Yaakov's burial. When Yaakov, when Esau can contest the ownership of the cave in the Machpelah, as soon as Yaakov's son reached the cave, other Machpelah, Esau came to stop them. He said to them, Mamre Kir Taiber, which is a Chevron. Isaac said that the ninth Kikiya Arber alludes to the four couples in turn there. Adam and Chava, Avram and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob and Leah. Jacob buried Leah in his place, and the remaining one, Esau, said that it was his. Yaakov's son said to Esau, you sold it. He replied, although I sold my birth, I did not sell the rights of an ordinary son. He answered, yes, for it's written, it was in my grave which I brought. Jesus said, the name of Rabbi Shimon, the son of Tzaddik, Kira, means nothing for sale, Meshida. The coastal city is a sale known as Kira. He replied, give me the deed. They said to him, the deed is in Egypt. One asked the other, who should go and get it? He replied, let Naphtali go because he has a fifth, is fleet-footed as a gazelle. As written, Naphtali is the swift as a gazelle. He's one who utters beautiful words. Did not read Imri Shafar, but read Imri Sefer, the words of the scroll. Meaning that Naphtali who brought the deed to the cave to prove that Yaakov had purchased Esau's burial plot right there. Tiger renders, Yisraeli Adva, his lot will fall in good lands. And I'll give thanks to his territory with beautiful words and phrases. Verse 22, Ben Paris, Ben Paris, the chiming son of Yosef. Ben Paris Ali, a son of chiming to the eye. Benay Sada Alishur, the woman, each one strove to see him. Ashi says, Ben Chemi, he called his son a chiming son. This is similar to the word, let us express favor. Shimon found it at the end of Baba Mitzvah. You find this according to Shimon at the end of Baba Mitzvah. Then praise Aliyah. That says his charm attracts the eye that beholds him. The woman in Egypt strode out on the walls to gaze on his beauty. Of the women, each one strode to a place in which he could catch a glimpse of him. Alishur, for the purpose of looking at him. Since I behold him, I did not fear. There are many midrashic interpretations, but this is the closest to the literary sense of the verse. And that's another explanation. This is how it should be read, because according to the first interpretation, shur means a wall. So the next interpretation is Alishur, Ali Yasei. The tough and it is added merrily to enhance the language, similar to the cost or the children of the children of men. Shur, expression of a lishar, to see, that's the meaning alishar, in order to see. Uncles, however, rendered Sadi alishar, two tribes emerged from his children. They each receive a share and inheritance. Scripture, the Torah writes, Benois alludes to the daughter of Menashe, the daughters of Tzlafchat, who received a share of the land in both sides of the Jordan. Ben Peres is rendering my son who will multiply. Is Joseph Peres is an expression of procreation, period. Is a midrashic interpretation that it fits the language of the verse as follows. When Esau came toward Yaakov, all the other mothers went out ahead of the children. But all the mothers went out ahead of the children to prostrate themselves. Concerning Rachel, however, it's written afterwards, Joseph and Rachel draw near to prostrate themselves into Esau. They noted that Joseph preceded Rachel. Yosef said, "The scoundrel has only eyes. Perhaps he will take fancy of my mother." So he went ahead of her, stretching his height to conceal her. His father was referring to this when he said the blessing of Ben Peres, a son who grew, meaning he raised himself over the eyes of Esau. Therefore, you have attained greatness. This is the Medrash Tablet. The woman, each one stood alone to see him, to gaze at you when you went through Egypt. They, the rabbis, interpret the word Ali Shemer, referring to the idea that evil eye should have no influence over his descendants. Also, when Jacob blessed Menashe and Ephraim, he blessed them that they should be like a fish, over which no evil eye has influence. They heaped bitterness upon him, and he became quarrelsome. Yea, archers despised him. Ashes Vayimaru Varabu means his brothers heaped bitterness upon him. And Potiphar and his wife heaped bitterness upon him by having imprisoned. This is the expression, and they embittered him, their lives. Varabu, what means Varabu? His brothers became his antagonists, men of quarrel. This verb Varabu is not a form of Paul, it's simple, but it should have been vocalized Rabu. Bali Chitzim, as she says, they call Bali Chitzim archers because their tongues were like arrows. Targum ever read it as Mori Pluktayu, expression similar, and the half Hamechza was meaning that they were fit to share their inheritance with him, his brothers, meaning Onkelos interprets Balachitzim as those who should take half. They wanted to split him in half. But his bow was stronger established. And his arms were guided from the hands for the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From there, he sustained the rock of Israel. Now she says, because strongly established his bow and strength. This refers to the placing of the signet ring on his hand. It's an expression similar to the glittering golden Zav HaMefuz. This elevation came to him from the hands of the Holy One, blessed be He, who is the mighty one of Jacob. From there, he, Joseph, was elevated to the sustainer of the rock of Israel, the mainstay of Israel. The expression of initial stone, Haben Harishayna, which is the expression of royalty. Jacob, the patriarch, was considered a real personality. Onkelos too renders it in this way. By Yefaizu is derived from the word puz, which is fine gold. He renders Vateshev as a Vatove Behen Nevi, meaning his prophecy returned and was fulfilled upon them, thus rendering Vatushav returning rather than being established. This is referring to the dreams that he dreamed about Al Dakenim Araita Bisrasa, because he observed the Torah in secret. This, in addition, is not derived from the Hebrew verse, Shesi He placed his trust in the Mighty One. This is a mini translation of the Tesha Be'esin Tashtei. This is the language of Targum follows in Hebrew. His prophecy returned because the Mighty One of the Holy One, blessed be He. This is his battle and his trust. The arms were guided. Expression of fine gold. So, Lashon Trukin, contraction of Av Uben, Evan Av Ben, father and son, which includes trans Avuhin Uvenim, father and son. The phrases like and they were spread since his seed came from between the fingers of his hands. The Medrash. Midi of Yaakov. That's when he was controlling himself. Midi of according to interpretation, this phrase renders by the hand of the mighty Jacob was able to overcome his temptation because his father's image appeared for him. See above, the end of the verse explains as follows: Yisrael Misham Rei Heaven. From there, he merited to be the shepherd of Israel, to have a stone amongst the stones of the tribes of Israel. Now, Rashi returns to the verse 26. He wishes to clarify the Targum Onkelos and renders the verse as follows: Your father's blessing shall be added to the blessing of my father before me. Excuse me. His father's blessing shall be added to the blessing of my father, be blessed before me, which the greats of old, the righteous, desire for themselves. Because ever renders Gevois Elam an expression of desire for longing. Gevois is hills, expression of pillars of the earth, meaning the righteous, in whose merit the world exists. These are the blessings his mother longed for and were forced him to accept. When God of your father, and he will help you. And the Almighty, and he will bless you. The blessing of the heavens above, and the blessings of deep lying below, the blessings of your father and your mother. Is blessed, they befell you, and he will help you. And your heart was with the Holy One, blessed be He, when you did not heed to your mistress' order, and because of this he shall bless you. Bircha Uncle, it's rendered Birchas the Abba V'Ima, blessing of a father and mother. This is to say that the one who begets the children and the one who bears the children will be blessed. The males will be impregnated with a drop of semen that is fit for conception, and the females will not lose what the womb miscarries the fetus. Shaddayim, what does Shaddayim mean? Come to mean father. He shall be cast down yeda. Translation of the Targum, Ishtazte Yishadayu. It too, Shaddai means the father, because semen shoots like an arrow. Birchas avicha gavra birchas hayre. The blessing of your father surpasses the blessing of my parents. Atav is Gevois Elam, the ends of everlasting hills. The Yenel and Shesa. They come to Joseph's head. And the crown on the head of those who separate from his brothers. As he says, the blessings the Holy One, blessed be He, has blessed me, surpasses the blessing he has blessed my parents. I'd give a Salem because my blessing extended until the end of the boundaries of everlasting hills. He gave me a limitless blessing without borders, reaching the four corners of the earth. As written, you shall spread eastward and westward and eastward, which he did not say to Avram nor to Isaac. Avram, he said, please raise your eyes and see, For all the land that you see, I'll give to you. And he showed him only the land of Israel. To Isaac he said, for to you and your seed, I will give you all this land, and I'll establish you an oath that I swore to Abraham your father. This is what Isaiah says, and I will provide you with the heritage of Jacob, your father. He did not say the heritage of Abraham, because he gave Yaakov much more. Tavas. She says Tavas, the ends. Tavas, Old French, the ends, the bounds. Nachman Suda clarifies exactly the same way. Haridai, Lashon Hirai, an expression of conception, meaning that they caused me to conceive in my mother's womb, similarly to a man who is impregnated. At Tavas, at Kitzais, until the end, like he showed I'm talking about in the eastern border. Together, Kulam Ladei Shesim, all of them to Yosef's head. Nazir Echad, Uncle renders the Achriya Pirshe, who was separated from her. Nazir means separated from his brothers. Similarly to they shall be separated, meaning Nazru, the children. The Jew, return to verse that continues, how rabbis have interpreted, but his bow was strong established, as referring to Yosef's overcoming his temptation with his master's wife. He calls it a bow because the semen shoots like an arrow. A phrase is the equivalent of a phrase is scattered. So the semen came out from between his fingers. That's a message. Okay, the lot I'm sure the lot he can go to the Midrashim over here and go to this all these blessings. But Yaakov Avinu blessed his children. We're holding in the chapter 10 of Tanya. Alter Rebbe is explaining to us the difference between a tzaddik gomer and a tzaddik she'eina gomer. And now he goes into a tzaddik she'eina gomer. So he explains tzaddik gomer has the love of God and ava b'tainugim, a true love of tainug, of delight, and therefore this tzaddik hates ra, Pashut hates evil. And what is evil? He hates Ilam Hazard, the delight of this world, for the sake of delight of the world. He might love the world for the sake of godliness, because he's living in this world, and he sees everything in this world as a godly concept. Anything in the world that has no godly concept, the David HaMelech says, I hate it. Anything that hates God, I hate. Klippa is the opposite of godliness, and therefore, God hates it, so to say. God calls it te'eva, abomination. So that's a tzaddik gomer. That's a complete tzaddik, a tzaddik that has transformed his evil into good. Pashut simply has no concept of the opposite of holiness. We're not talking about bad over here. The opposite of holiness. Anything the opposite of holiness, to the tzaddik, it's something that he has nothing to do with. Not only has nothing to do with it, he hates it. Tachlis and Asim, I hate it completely. Tzaddik she'eina gomer, an incomplete tzaddik, who she'eina seina sitra achar v'tachlis. So that's it. A tzaddik she'eina gomer is simply a person that does not hate sitra achra with absolute hatred. Therefore, this tzaddik does not find evil as absolutely repugnant. He doesn't find it repugnant. He doesn't do it, God forbid. He's not involved with it, but he doesn't find this concept a repugnant, something that he just gets disgusted by it. And therefore, the Alter Rebbe says, "V'kol shein asina v'amis patachlis." And if you don't hate something, if you don't hate something that God has nothing to do with, and it's not absolute, he must retain some vestige of love, of pleasure towards it. So therefore, if you don't hate something, that means you have some aspect towards it. You have some connection to it. Because if you hate it, you would not have anything to do with it. So what gives you disgust? So therefore, the filthy garments, which the animal soul has been clothed, meaning, as explained above, the evil inclination and the lusting after worldly pleasure has obviously not been completely shed from it. Yet he's a tzaddik. He's still in the category of a tzaddik. Tzaddik she'eina gomer. He's an incomplete tzaddik. Therefore, the evil of the animal soul has not been actually been converted to good. Since he has some hold, he has some connection to this filthy garments, meaning to the desire for pleasure in which the animal soul had previously clothed and expressed itself. The thing is, this visage of evil is bottled, is nullified, and cannot express itself in evil desires, meaning because the evil is nullified in the good by the reason of its minuteness and its accounting as nothing. So meaning the overwhelming preponderance of good prevents the evil from being sensed and from being fine expression. And that's why in the Gemara he's called a tzaddik that has evil, which means not only a tzaddik who knows he taints evil, but a tzaddik whose evil is subjugated and surrendered to him. The good within him. Such a tzaddik is identified with good since he's overwhelmingly good. So it's a big darga. It's a very big level to reach to a tzaddik with Aleph. It's extremely big because we're trying to get still to a bethany. So it's even a tzaddik with Aleph to be a tzaddik that has the nefesh of Bahamas. That's what you understand the Gemara when the Gemara says that the Eibush doesn't trust anybody. Why? Because even he's a tzaddik, but since he has it out, since he's a tzaddik she'eina gomer, so therefore there's always a capability for the reawakening of this nefesh Bahamas. Even though right now it's totally bottled, it's totally nullified to the nefesh lakis, but since there's always free choice, so therefore tzaddikim also, most tzaddikim on the world are tzaddik v'rales. They're not complete tzaddikim. There's very few tzaddikim in this world, tzaddik gomers in this world. That's what the meaning of the statement. They're able to make sure that there will always be tzaddikim gemurim in the world. If you leave it up to man, maybe no man will be able to reach up to a tzaddik gomer. This had to be given by God to make sure that there will be always a person that can reach up to this level of a tzaddik gomer. Cain gam avosil avaya, and therefore, if he has some visage, if he has some connection, if he still has ra within him, avosil avaya nebetapas. So then it goes both hands. If I still have some connection to evil, so therefore I don't have true love of God. You can't have both. Can't have your cake and eat it. You can't have both worlds. If I have true love to God, I have no connection to evil. If I have any slightest connection, the concept of negative, of evil, of desire, of heipach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, heipach HaKadusha, then that means I don't have total Abba. And that's why he's an incomplete tzaddik. As I played above, the term complete, incomplete denotes a tzaddik's level of love of God. In terms of who knows only good and knows evil, denotes the degree of his eradication of the transformation of evil. So therefore, he's not a tzaddik gomer because he doesn't love the Eibishter. He's not a tzaddik gomer for two reasons. Number one, he doesn't love the Eibishter totally, in total. And number two, he still has a connection to you. Now, this level of an incomplete tzaddik who knows evil is subdivided in myriads of levels. There's hundreds and thousands of capabilities. Like being in Bechina Mitara, it's all the question varying degrees of the quality of the minute remaining evil derived from any one of the four evil elements in which the animal soul is composed. So the question is, how much Ra he loves, and how much he loves the Eibishter, and how much evil he despises. In one tzaddik, the remaining evil may consist of element of water, that he has desires, certain desires in life. And evil may consist of spark of element of fire. I'd have anger. I'd have a little visage of anger in him. Subdivision levels of quantitative based on the type of remaining evil. Alter Rebbe will now describe, as it were, a quantitative subdivision, depending on the degree of which evil loses its identity with the good. In one tzaddik, the visage of evil may be such that the proportion of good to evil could be described as 60-1. I mean, the evil of another tzaddik may be more minute. So his overwhelming proportion of good is 1,000-1, and so on. You find the Gemara, Bata b'shishim, Bata b'meya. You find these different expressions in the Gemara. The Alter Rebbe is using the Gemara to this concept. So you have 60-1, right? You have a concept of Bata b'shishim, 60-1. You have Bata b'roiv. You have Bata b'meya. So you have these kind of different expressions in the Gemara. Now, what is batal? How much do you need to mevatel something? How much you need to nullify something? It's a barring a term, the law concerning non-kosher food stuff. The Alter Rebbe is barring a term from the Gemara. In certain cases of error, the rule is that even preponderance of 60 parts of kosher to one non-kosher is sufficient to render the entire mixture kosher. Since the non-kosher food is no longer capable of tainting the mixture with its flavor. We're talking about a situation you can't see the non-kosher. Non-kosher, I poured cup of milk into a pot of soup. If I have a pialacha, I can't do this to begin with. You don't vattel something to begin with. By mistake, I made an error. Poured some milk by mistake into a pot of chicken soup. I didn't realize it was milk. Thought it was whatever. It was some other kind of it was almond milk, and it was real milk. I found real milk. So now the question is, Api Halacha, if the 60 times to the 1 cup of milk, it's bottle, because the milk cannot give taste anymore. You can't see the milk anymore. And the milk cannot give taste to this chicken soup. So now I have bottle b'shishim. The entire mixture, since not kosher capable of taking the mixture that we made likewise, say in the case of preponderance of good over evil, to the degree of 60-1. Is also capable of preventing the expression and the perception of remaining evil. So you have the same thing. So what you have somebody who's 60-1, you have somebody who's 100-1, you have somebody who's 1,000-1. Different kind of people. The subdivision that takes into account the degree to which the remaining evil is nullified in the good because of the minuteness. Example is 60 times much good, like the elephant of Vava, or for example, 1,000 or 10,000 derech moshe. These various subdoubles and ranks of incomplete tzaddikim are the levels of the numerous tzaddikim found in all generations. Baruch Hashem, we have a lot of tzaddikim she'ein and gemurim in this world. Baruch Hashem, people that only do good, and they're partially involved only in Torah mitzvahs, but that doesn't mean that they don't have their nefesh habaham is still a vestige of their animal soul. And there are hundreds, maybe thousands, Baruch Hashem, of such kind of people found who all belong to the category of an incomplete tzaddik. As the Gemara says, 18,000 tzaddikim stand before the Holy One, blessed be. Thousands of tzaddikim, Baruch Hashem, in the world. Also, though many strains of level of tzaddikim, they are fact, incomplete tzaddikim. Concerning the rank of a complete tzaddik, this Rabbi Shimon says in the Gemara, I've seen superior men, b'nei aliyah, and they are but few. Tzaddik Gomer is called. A Bnei Aliyah means men of ascent. People that are on a whole different level. The kind is that they converted the evil and made it ascent to holiness. The Issa B'Zoya. He brought on the Zoya, in the beginning of Zoya, that once in Gan Eden, Rab Chia, great title, wanted to go into the chamber of Shimba Echai, Shama Kol of Amar, a voice came out from the chamber of Shimba Echai. He said, Man Muncha di Sheka Mahapkel Nahira. Whichever of you, before coming here, has converted the darkness of the world into light, and they have transformed the bitter taste of the animal soul and the evil inclination into sweetness, only these can enter. You cannot come in if you're not a Tzaddik Gomer. A Tzaddik Gomer has transformed darkness into light. A Tzaddik Gomer has transformed bitterness into sweetness. There's no bitterness by this Tzaddik She'eina Gomer. There's no bitterness by this incomplete Tzaddik. There's no bitterness by this incomplete Tzaddik. This incomplete Tzaddik has total and utter sweetness in his life. He only has the concept of sweetness in life. He has no bitterness in his life. Only sweetness, because he's a person that by him, everything is Kedusha. And if everything is Kedusha, then everything is light and everything is sweet. And that completes the Chumash for Tanya for today. Today is the 16th day of the month, which is chapter 79, 80, 81, and 82. 79, 80, 81, and 82. Wish you all a good day. I will not give my Chumash class today, so I'm in New York. Even though it looks like I'm at the beach, it's not at the beach over here, it's actually raining. Wish you all a good day. Mitzvah, I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll continue the Chitas. A wonderful and beautiful day.